Were you surprised to get the call?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. Just thinking about it, being a guy from Ohio, I feel like it makes sense to me. Just looking at the Bengals' history of guys from Ohio that have punted there. Definitely surprising. Definitely a really great feeling, and I'm just excited for the opportunity to continue the body of work that I presented.
Did you ever follow Huber? I mean, you're a punter. You don't live very far away. Did you ever follow Huber? You ever talk to him? You ever watch him work?
I've known mutual connections who have known Huber, but I have not talked to him directly. No.
Did you ever watch the Bengals? Did you watch them much? Or?
As a kid growing up, I took one thing at a time and really just going after the college dream first. I definitely watched my fair share of NFL games. Was more just looking at different punters and different kickers as I grew up, rather than just supporting one team. I really just looked up to guys who had really strong bodies of work and guys who have proven themselves as veterans, including Huber. Huber was in that list. Never had the opportunity to talk to him, but I really looked up to that guy. Yes, sir.
Others? I'm sorry. I just want to ask about other punters you might have watched or.
Yeah. So other punters I've watched: Andy Lee, Thomas Morstead, Sam Cook. Those were the three guys I really tried to model my game after, and the guys I looked up to, including Kevin Huber in there too. Were just guys who had long careers and guys I looked up to, and I wanted to model my game after and be just like them.
What makes you such a good hang time guy?
So I compare it to because I was a 4-sport guy growing up, right? So I was baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. I compare it best to baseball. Most guys in the NFL, they're in the NFL because they essentially have the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, right? It's God-given ability mixed with talent, and mixed with hard work, correct? So, really, what makes me a good hang time punter is just being consistent in my mechanics, in pair with the work ethic that I have, in pair with God-given ability. It's really hard to teach people to throw the ball 99 miles an hour, right? Some guys can do it, some guys can't. So I believe that's a strength of mine. I believe I'm consistent and directional, definitely consistent in touch when it comes to being close to the goal line. But yeah, I'm just excited for the opportunity moving forward.
Do you have a favorite punt from your college career?
Ooh, I believe just if you follow my college career closely, kind of went through some adversity and figured stuff out, but got my first start back in 2020 against Indiana. Right, I'd started 2017, was out for a couple of years, and then 2020 I came back. I had my first full start against Indiana, and I believe it was my second or third punt of the game. I really started gaining that confidence, and I believe it was somewhere in the upper 50s, maybe into the 60s, and bounced directly out of bounds. Was definitely one of my favorite memorable punts, and kind of just spring forward into helping me believe that, this is something I can definitely do moving forward, and this is what I want to do for as long as I can.
I mean, this might sound cliche, but like you said, you played soccer as one of those sports. How much do you feel like that helped you, playing soccer, being a punter on the football field?
Yeah, I was always one of those guys on the team who had a leg. If you're ever to take a shot, people, rather than standing in the way, they'd rather get out of the way. That definitely made a few kids cry, if it hit them. So that was kind of my how I was known, right? And I was also a goalkeeper, so I definitely punted the ball out of the box type of deal. But no, it actually kind of dated back to Pee Wee football. My dad had tryouts with the New Jersey Generals back in the day when the USFL was the original USFL. And during Pee Wee football, he asked me, we were looking for a punter, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you go give it a try?" And my first punt was a 35-yard spiral down the field, and he said I gave him goosebumps type of deal. And didn't really think much of it. And then going into high school, I started going to camps, and I had hit above 5 seconds hang time as a sophomore. And I believe it was Jordan Berry at the time was working the camp, and he was like, "Hey man, you can get college paid for and potentially make this into a career, right?" So that's really what kind of sprung everything forward, and just looking forward to what's next and what's to come.
What did you think of Darren Simmons the first time you met him, and what is your meetings like? What have your meetings been like with Darren Simmons? Right.
So I really, not to sound like a Cali guy or whatever, but vibe with his personality. I really appreciate how he conducts his business and who he is as a person. I believe he is straightforward, and in my personal opinion, I don't believe he's like sugarcoating anything. He's telling you exactly what he needs, when he needs it, and how he needs it. And I feel like that's how I take coaching best. Couldn't be a better fit for me. Just talking to Coach Simmons and throughout the combine and throughout the entire process and through the workouts and stuff, just really excited. I think our personalities will mesh well. There's no one who's going to take their work as serious as I will.
What was the workout like? What was the workout like up there? I guess it was Good Friday.
Yeah, correct.
And what was it like? He can be a little bit quirky.
Yeah, no, I don't. So I think I'm quirky too, right? So it's like I think all kind of specialists are. Yeah. So in any kind of capacity, specialists are a little bit quirky, right? But no, so in your eyes, you might have seen it as quirky. In my eyes, I saw it as relatively normal. So no, just looking at the workout, it's kind of just like how the combine is kind of structured, right? And pair with just a bunch of holding. Obviously, holding is becoming a huge part of the job as an NFL punter. And with a guy like Evan, right, who's so consistent and such a good player, you just need to be as consistent as you can for that guy. And the ability to gain that trust of the people around you, snapper, holder, or snapper, kicker, coach, right, all that kind of stuff. The quicker you can establish that trust and establish that relationship, the better off you will be in the long run. So yeah, in my mind, I think the workout went well, just as far as the kicking and punting standpoint, but a lot of it, I feel like, one of my strengths is just being a really, really good holder. I held for, Moody, obviously drafted in the late third round, and, won the Groza, was a Groza finalist and all that kind of stuff. And, excited for his future and excited for his career. But I feel like that's a big part of my game as well, is just being so consistent in that regard, as well as being consistent in the hang time and the direction and the punting, right? So, it's just, there's a lot of facets that, a lot of people don't understand, but, there's many different parts to being a punter.
Kicking in the elements, can be a big deal, especially in the AFC North. How do you,
Correct.
And obviously you've had more than enough experience in the Big Ten with that. How do you embrace it? How do you handle kicking in conditions that are not ideal?
Yeah, so how does a golfer, golf during, 30-mile-an-hour winds, 20-mile-an-hour winds, rain, weather, conditions, right? So it's all about the process, really understanding what your mental makeup is. Being born in Ohio, living in Ohio, going to Michigan, I'm definitely not afraid of the weather. That's something I look forward to, and I feel like it actually increases my game. There's a lot of different kind of drops and different kind of molds you need to do, and different timing for different things in order to be successful in different kind of conditions. And I feel like, that could be something I can improve on and something I can become, consistent at, and it can be even more of a strength, right? The ability to punt in different conditions and all that kind of stuff, especially in the AFC North, is really, it's make or break for you. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to not only just, improve, but come as close to perfect as I can.
What was the adversity you referenced from 2017 before you got the job in 2020?
Yeah, 2017, I had a weight room issue, right? Was out 2018, 2019, came back the last game of the season, and then the problem was 2018. After 2017, I was out for 2018. The guy who played above me in 2018 became an All-American. So understanding kind of the writing on the wall, like, hey, what do I do here? Do I transfer? What do we do? How do I make the most of this situation? Well, I definitely want to get my degree. I feel like the Michigan degree weighs so heavy on my future, right? So that's a non-negotiable. I need to get that. So I graduated in 3.5 years, as quick as I could just to get my degree and see what happened. In the meantime, really dedicated myself into my craft and my performance and really put it all out there to see what I could do to win the spot back, correct? So, that was kind of the adversity, long story short, that I went through. And, 2020, like I said, kind of that Indiana game ended up winning that spot back and, led the Big Ten that year. 2021, was top of the Big Ten. And then, it just kind of stemmed from there.
Was it an injury in the weight room? Is that what you're referring to? I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was just, it was just like minor, but, definitely took me out for a bit and, now back to 100%, obviously.
What position did your dad play? Was he a punter too?
Yeah, so his road was a little bit rockier. I don't know the story exactly. He was a punter, correct. He didn't go the normal college route like everyone else did, but I forget the exact story, but ended up having USFL tryouts against the Ohio State guy at the time and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was a punter. Big lefty.
Okay, I think that's it.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Congratulations.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you in a couple
Brad.
weeks.
See ya.